यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरवनचारी यमुना तीरवनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरवनचारी यमुना तीरवनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Jaya Gandharvika Giridhare, Gandharvika Giridhare Gaura Hari. Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Ananta Dev, Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Ananta Dev. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
So there is Kannada translation also simultaneously going on. Near Srila Prabhupada, Surnath Prabhu is doing, and devotees who want to tune into radio FM, they can tune into 107.3. Venudhari Prabhu is doing Kannada translation near Srila Prabhupada. So we request devotees, those who request.
You have to announce that in Kannada. That they won't understand.
ಕನ್ನಡ ಅನುವಾದ ಬೇಕಿರೋರು 107.3 ಇದು ರೇಡಿಯೋ ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ ಟ್ಯೂನ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ನೀವು ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು ರೇಡಿಯೋದಲ್ಲಿ. ಅವರು ವೇಣುದಾರಿ ಪ್ರಭು ಪ್ರಭುಪಾದ ಹತ್ರ ಕನ್ನಡ ಅನುವಾದ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಹರೇ ಕೃಷ್ಣ.
ಓಂ ಅಜ್ಞಾನತಿಮಿರಾಂಧಸ್ಯ ಜ್ಞಾನಾಂಜನಶಲಾಕಯ ಚಕ್ಷುರೋನ್ಮೀಲಿತಂ ಯೇನ ತಸ್ಮೈ ಶ್ರೀಗುರವೇ ನಮಃ. ಶ್ರೀಚೈತನ್ಯಮನೋಭೀಷ್ಟಂ ಸ್ಥಾಪಿತಂ ಯೇನ ಭೂತಲೆ ಸ್ವಯಂ ರೂಪ ಕದಾ ಮಹ್ಯಂ ದದಾತಿ ಸ್ವಪದಾಂತಿಕಂ. ವಂದೇಹಂ ಶ್ರೀಗುರುಃ ಶ್ರೀಯುತಪದಕಮಲಂ ಶ್ರೀಗುರುನ್ ವೈಷ್ಣವಾಂಶ್ಚ ಶ್ರೀರೂಪಂ ಸಾಗ್ರಜಾತಂ ಸಹಗಣ ರಘುನಾಥಾನ್ವಿತಂ ತಂ ಸಜೀವಂ ಸಾದ್ವೈತಂ ಸಾವಧೂತಂ ಪರಿಜನಸಹಿತಂ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಚೈತನ್ಯದೇವಂ ಶ್ರೀರಾಧಾ ಕೃಷ್ಣಪಾದಾಂ ಸಹಗಣ ಲಲಿತಾ ಶ್ರೀ ವಿಶಾಖಾನ್ವಿತಾಂಶ್ಚ. ನಮೋ ಓಂ ವಿಷ್ಣುಪಾದಾಯ ಕೃಷ್ಣಪ್ರೇಷ್ಠಾಯ ಭೂತಲೆ ಶ್ರೀಮತೆ ಭಕ್ತಿವೇದಾಂತ ಸ್ವಾಮಿನ್ನಿತಿ ನಾಮಿನೆ. ನಮಸ್ತೆ ಸಾರಸ್ವತೆ ದೇವೆ ಗೌರವಾಣಿ ಪ್ರಚಾರಿಣೆ ನಿರ್ವಿಶೇಷ ಶೂನ್ಯವಾದಿ ಪಾಶ್ಚಾತ್ಯ ದೇಶತಾರಿಣೆ. ವಾಂಛಾಕಲ್ಪತರುಭ್ಯಶ್ಚ ಕೃಪಾ ಸಿಂಧುಭ್ಯ ಏವ ಚ ಪತಿತಾನಾಂ ಪಾವನೇಭ್ಯೋ ವೈಷ್ಣವೇಭ್ಯೋ ನಮೋ ನಮಃ. ಜಯ ಶ್ರೀ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಚೈತನ್ಯ ಪ್ರಭು ನಿತ್ಯಾನಂದ ಶ್ರೀ ಅದ್ವೈತ ಗದಾಧರ ಶ್ರೀವಾಸಾದಿ ಗೌರ ಭಕ್ತ ವೃಂದ. ಹರೇ ಕೃಷ್ಣ 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 ಹರೇ ಹರೇ, ಹರೇ ರಾಮ 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 ಹರೇ ಹರೇ. Hare Krishna. A hearty welcome to all the devotees on the occasion of the Appearance Day celebrations of Lord Shri Narasimhadeva. It is on this tithi many years ago in Satya Yuga that the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna appeared in the most wonderful and extraordinary form of Lord Narasimhadeva. And since that time, from time immemorial, this festival has been celebrated with great joy and devotion all over the country. Earlier it used to be celebrated all over the planet. Then somehow it got lost, and now by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, once again it is being celebrated all over the planet. And it is also being celebrated as usual all over the universe. Because at the time of Lord Narasimhadeva's appearance, all the demigods were also participating by being witnesses. And then when Lord Narasimhadeva appeared, then the demigods came to offer prayers to him. So this was an occasion for celebration throughout the universe. Yesterday, morning and evening, as well as this morning, we were discussing some verses from the Srimad Bhagavatam, the 7th canto, the 8th chapter, which specifically deals with the appearance of the Supreme Lord as Narasimhadeva. And a brief background for those of you who were not attending or who were not able to attend. You know that Hiranyakashipu and his brother Hiranyaksha were very powerful demons, and they caused a great disturbance in the whole universe. So much so that even the demigods were not able to discharge their functions. In fact, there was great unemployment all over the universe. All the demigods who were in charge of different functions of the universal administration now were left without a service, because Hiranyakashipu took over all the work that they must never send text messages, SMS when the class is going on. No need to look at the phone when the Krishna Katha is going on, Krishna Nam is going on. At least for some time, let us forget our phones. Let us forget the rest of the world. And let us focus only on the devotion to Lord Krishna. So then, even though Hiranyakashipu tried in so many different ways to kill Prahlad, by placing him under the feet of mad elephants, by throwing him into a pit of poisonous snakes, by throwing him from the top of a cliff, by placing him in a pot of boiling oil, and many, many other ways, but Prahlad was never even in the slightest bit injured. And Hiranyakashipu began to get increasingly worried and fearful and anxious. Eventually, when after so many repeated attempts to kill him in different ways emerged unsuccessful, Hiranyakashipu began to panic. And then one day he called his son. And when his son was again talking about Lord Vishnu, in great anger, Hiranyakashipu told him that you are an extremely impudent, arrogant, ignorant, foolish, stupid boy, because you are not listening to my advice. You think that you are so clever that you can go against my instruction and take shelter of Lord Vishnu, who is my enemy. And Prahlad at that time gave many nice instructions to Hiranyakashipu, which we discussed yesterday and this morning as well. And Prahlad advised his father, my dear father, do not think in terms of friends and enemies. No one is our friend, no one is our enemy. These distinctions are all a creation of the mind. In reality, who is our friend? Who is our enemy? So therefore, cease to have such inimical ideas towards people. Become a well-wisher of everybody by becoming a devotee of Lord Krishna. Then when Prahlad insisted on speaking like this, Hiranyakashipu became extremely angry. And as he was speaking to Prahlad, berating him, chastising him for speaking about such strange ideas as controlling the mind and controlling the senses and becoming a devotee of Lord Krishna, then Hiranyakashipu saw that Prahlad was not looking at him, but rather that he was looking at a pillar. And when he saw that, he said, Prahlad, you arrogant, impudent boy, you dare to speak of some Lord other than me? Yas tvaya manda bhagyokto mad anyo jagatishvaraha. O unfortunate one, manda bhagya, you dare to speak about a Lord other than me? You don't know how powerful I am? Even the demigods tremble at the very mention of my name. And yet, you are speaking about some other God called Vishnu or Krishna? Kva asau? Where is that Lord of yours? I want to see him. Yadi saha sarvatra. You are saying he is everywhere. But yadi saha sarvatra, if indeed he is everywhere, kasmat stambhena drishyate. Why do I not see him in this pillar here? You are staring at this pillar. So I want to know, if the Lord that you proclaim to be supreme, that you are so fond of, that he is everywhere, yadi saha sarvatra, then why is he not present here in the pillar before me? Kasmat stambhe na drishyate. He should be everywhere. Because, O Prahlad, you are speaking so much nonsense. I shall now sever your head from your body. Now let me see your most worshipable Lord come to protect you. I want to see this happening. So Hiranyakashipu was challenging God to come and protect his devotee. As we were discussing this morning, for the Supreme Lord, protecting his devotee caring for them, giving them shelter and affection is more important to him than to kill demons like Hiranyakashipu or Ravan, Hiranyaksha, etc. Although the Lord does personally kill these demons when he descends here, Vinashaya Chadushkritam, but actually his real purpose is Paritranaya Sadhunam. He comes here for the protection of the devotees, of the saintly people, of those who are truly cultured. But because it is required to kill the demons to protect the devotees, therefore as an incidental thing he kills the demons. But his primary purpose is that he comes out of love for his devotee. And now that Hiranyakashipu is challenging God, let me see, O Prahlad, where is that worshipable Lord of yours? And Prahlad was actually seeing Lord Narasimhadeva within the pillar. Only he was able to see. Nobody else was able to see. Many times people challengingly ask the question, can you show me God? One time I was at an airport and these two young girls came. They must have been only 14, 15 years of age, or roughly thereabouts. They saw me in these clothes and they came and asked, can you prove that God exists? Can you show us God? So I said, yes, but you must have the eyes to see him. Do you have the eyes to see? No. I asked them, can you see the microbes and the germs with your eyes? They said, no, but we can see it with a microscope. I said, correct. So just as you need a microscope to see very small things, you cannot see them with your eye. Just as you need a telescope to see many distant objects in this space far, far away. And these are just material things. So why do you think you should be able to see God with these material eyes made of flesh and blood and so on? What is the capacity of these eyes to see? At this moment, if all the lights are switched off and there is no moonlight or sunlight, then we will not even be able to see the hands in front of our eyes, what to speak of anything else. So why are we so proud of our eyes? Why do we assume that seeing is believing? Why do we think that if we can't see something with our eyes, then it cannot exist? That is also something that is unreasonable. So yes, you can see God, but you must develop the eyes to see God. The eyes to see God will come when you serve God, when you listen to the instructions of God in the scriptures like the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam. And by hearing, you will get knowledge of who is God, who am I, what is this world. And then you will also understand how to serve the Supreme Lord and why to serve Him. And when you begin to serve the Lord, automatically everything will appear, everything will manifest. Ataha Shri Krishna Namadi na bhavet grahyam indriyai sevon mukhe jivvado swayam eva spuratyado. So in this verse it is mentioned that one cannot understand all the attributes of God, like His name, His abode. One cannot see His form, etc. with these eyes, with these gross bodily senses. But when we engage these senses in the service of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, then automatically the senses and the mind become purified. And with those purified, spiritualized eyes and senses, then we can perceive the Lord in the heart. And some fortunate, exalted devotees like Prahlad can actually see the Lord face to face. It is not such a cheap thing that we should just demand, show me God. Today, if I demand sitting here, show me the President of India, let him appear before me, will the President of India come? Will the Prime Minister of India come? No. Even your child will not come. You keep calling, come here, child says, no, I don't want to come. Then why should you expect that the Lord should come just because you want to see Him? We have to be qualified to see God. Then the Lord will happily appear. It is only love that will bring the Lord in front of us, not anything else, not our material intelligence, not our wealth, not our name and fame and beauty. No material quality attracts the Lord. The only quality that attracts the Supreme Lord is pure devotion. And when that devotion comes in the heart of the devotee, then Lord Krishna is helplessly attracted. So much so that the devotee becomes even more powerful than the Supreme Lord. And like Mother Yashoda did in Vrindavan, the devotee can even bind Lord Krishna. But the binding of Lord Krishna is done not simply by rope, but it is by love. It is because of the love of Mother Yashoda that she was able to bind Krishna with rope. Otherwise, there is no question of any rope being able to bind Krishna. So because Prahlad had that heart that was full of devotion, full of bhakti, therefore the Lord was obliged out of love to appear exclusively to Prahlad and to nobody else. So today, if the Lord wants to appear physically here and appear to somebody amongst us who may be a very, very pure devotee, maybe that only one person will see Him and nobody else will see Him. The Lord reserves the right to make Himself visible to whoever He chooses. And He has the power to make Himself invisible to anyone else. He will only select those who are qualified. So Hiranyakashipu was unqualified to see God, but he had one qualification that was very, very great. What was that qualification? He was the father of Prahlad. Even though he harassed and troubled Prahlad so much, because the Lord loved Prahlad, he appeared before Prahlad. And in order to save Prahlad, he also had to show himself to Hiranyakashipu. So Hiranyakashipu was fortunate that he could ultimately get to see the Supreme Lord in the form of Lord Narasimhadeva. So when Prahlad was looking at the pillar and Hiranyakashipu challenged him that I want to see how your Lord will come and save you. Now with my sword in hand, I am about to sever your head from your body. Let me see how the Lord will come and save you. And in this way, Hiranyakashipu was roaring in great anger and cursing his son again and again. Hiranyakashipu took up his sword and with great might, with great force, he struck that pillar with his fist. Hiranyakashipu was extremely strong, and when he struck the pillar, it was a very strong blow. And then something very spectacular happened, something very unprecedented happened. What happened? Let us hear in the words of Shukadev Goswami what happened. Then from within the pillar came a fearful sound which appeared to crack the covering of the universe. This sound reached even the abodes of the demigods like Lord Brahma. And when the demigods heard it, they thought, oh, now our planets are being destroyed. So such a loud, terrific sound emerged. So much so that even the demigods in the higher planets began to tremble in fear, and they thought, now is the end of the universe. Our planets are going to get destroyed. Just as when there is loud thunder, there are loud claps of thunder, what to speak of children, even adults tremble a little bit. Does it happen or not? Immediately some kind of sensation runs through the body, and at the back of the mind, we think, oh, I hope we are not going to get destroyed by this thunder. So similarly, this sound reverberated throughout the universe, and the demigods also began to be fearful. While showing his extraordinary prowess, Hiranyakashipu, who desired to kill his own son, heard that wonderful tumultuous sound which had never before been heard. Upon hearing the sound, the other leaders of the demons were afraid. None of them could find the origin of that sound in that assembly. And then this verse that is up on the board was spoken. Narad Muni is actually speaking this to King Yudhishthir, because Yudhishthir has wanted to know the story of Prahlad and Narasimhadeva. So Narad Muni, who was the guru of Prahlad, he started explaining this story. So in the course of that narration, now this verse has been spoken, a very beautiful verse which explains why the Supreme Lord appeared, and indeed why he appeared in such an extraordinary way from within a pillar. So let us recite this verse, so kindly repeat after me. Satyam vidhatum nijabhritya bhashitam vyaptim cha bhuteshu akhileshu chatmanah adrishyatat yadbhutarupamudvahan stambhe sabhayam na mrigam na manusham satyam vidhatum nijabhritya bhashitam vyaptim cha bhuteshu akhileshu chatmanah adrishyatat yadbhutarupamudvahan stambhe sabhayam na mrigam na manusham. Satyam vidhatum. Satya means true. Vidhatu means to prove. To prove what? Nijabhritya bhashitam. Nijabhritya. Bhritya means a servant, a devotee. Bhashitam means the words. So to prove that the words of his devotee were true. Which words? Vyaptim cha bhuteshu akhileshu cha atmanah. That the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna or Sri Vishnu, is all pervasive. He is everywhere present, in every atom and also in the heart of every living entity. In order to prove that the statement of his dear devotee Prahlad, that the Lord is present everywhere, what happened? Adrishyata. Therefore, the Lord was seen. And what way was he seen? Ati adbhuta rupam. He was seen in this most extraordinary form. Adbhuta means wonderful, extraordinary form. Udvahan means he took. So the Lord took this most extraordinary form. And stambhe, in the pillar, sabhayam, in the assembly hall of Hiranyakashipu, he took a form that was na mrigam, not an animal, na manusham, not a human being. So he assumed a form that was neither human nor animal, but he was half lion, half man. So therefore, to convince Hiranyakashipu that the words of the devotees are always correct, the Lord appeared through the pillar. Otherwise, he could have appeared from anywhere. But because Prahlad was looking at the pillar, he wanted to demonstrate that indeed the Lord is actually everywhere. Now, the pillar had already been constructed. How is it that the Lord entered the pillar? Because He is already there. He is already there in every atom. And then for the Lord to manifest anywhere in the creation is not at all a difficult task, because the whole creation is simply a manifestation of His own material energy. This material energy is always under the control of the Lord. So it was an easy thing for the Lord to appear in any way He liked, in any form He liked, in any manner He liked, because He is supreme. For us, it is very extraordinary. When the Lord builds a bridge across the sea to Lanka and floats big stones, it is very extraordinary for us. But not for God. He is floating billions of planets in space. So what is difficult for the Lord in floating some stones on the water? Similarly, for the Lord to appear from within a pillar may seem extremely odd and strange and extraordinary for us. But for the Lord, it is not at all something difficult. And He also wanted to reassure His devotee, Prahlad, don't worry, Prahlad. Your father cannot harm you even one bit. I am there with you. I am there for you to protect you. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna asks Arjuna to promise, Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhaktah pranashyati. O Kaunteya, Arjuna, please declare boldly to the whole world that my devotee will never perish. So Lord Krishna repeatedly in the Bhagavad Gita promises protection to His devotees who surrender to Him and who constantly serve Him with devotion. So here, by this most wonderful appearance, Lord Narasimhadeva has sent a message to both the devotees as well as the demons. To the demons He has sent a message that I exist. Even though you deny my existence, but I am very much present. And not only am I present, I am present everywhere, in every living entity's heart, in every atom, and I can appear from anywhere and everywhere as per my sweet will. And to the devotees, He reinforces the faith of the devotee that He is indeed present everywhere and that He will always keep His promise to protect His devotees. It is because of this faith in Lord Krishna's repeated promises in this regard that devotees become truly fearless, as indeed Prahlad was. Even when Hiranyakashipu was trying to kill Prahlad in so many ways, Prahlad was not panicking at all. He didn't shout, police, police. He didn't shout for the doctors. He didn't shout for the lawyers. He didn't even shout for God. Oh God, please save me. He never once said that. He simply closed his eyes and meditated upon the beautiful form of Lord Krishna. And that gave him so much peace and joy and fearlessness. He didn't even want to trouble God, please come and save me. Because he had the faith that this body, like the whole world, belongs to Krishna. If Lord Krishna wants to destroy it, it is His property. Who am I to protest? And if Lord Krishna wants to protect my body, which is His property, then who can destroy my body? So either way, why should I panic? Why should I worry? This kind of faith and understanding and devotion brings complete fearlessness to the devotee. Bhajahu re mana Shri Nandanandana Abhaya Charanaravindare. As a great Vaishnava poet has sung, instructing his own mind, "O my dear mind, please worship the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna, because this will award you true fearlessness within this world." And Hiranyakashipu looked all around to find out the source of this noise. he could not understand where is this sound coming from. The origin of that sound could not be traced. And then that wonderful form of the Lord emerged from the pillar. And Hiranyakashipu gazed at this in amazement and wonder. And he began to think, what is this creature that has come out of the pillar, that is half lion and half man? He had never before seen such a creature. He had seen a human being and he had seen a lion, but he had never seen a form of a half lion and a half human. And with this kind of shrieking sounds, that the roaring sounds that the lion, half man was making, was sending shudders through the spine of not only Hiranyakashipu, but also all the assembled demons who were present there in their thousands. This terrifying sound was reverberating throughout the universe. Hiranyakashipu paused for a few moments and tried to study this form that he had never seen before, and trying to decide, who is this who is present in front of me? And Narad Muni describes the description, or rather he gives the appearance of Lord Narasimhadeva. The Lord's form was extremely fearsome because of his angry eyes, which resembled molten gold, his shining mane, which expanded the dimensions of his fearful face, his deadly teeth, his razor-sharp tongue, which moved about like a dueling sword. His ears were erect and motionless, and his nostrils and gaping mouth appeared like caves of a mountain. His jaws parted fearfully, and his entire body touched the sky. His neck was very short and thick, his chest broad, his waist thin, the hairs on his body as white as the rays of the moon. His arms, which resembled flanks of soldiers, spread in all directions as he killed the demons, rogues, and atheists with his conch shell, disc, club, lotus, and other natural weapons. And then Hiranyakashipu understood, this is Lord Vishnu, who has appeared in this strange form in order to kill me. But he will not be able to kill me. I am supremely powerful. What can this Lord Vishnu do? Let him appear in whatever form he wants, half lion, half human, whatever he wants. Let him use whatever weapons he wants, but he will not be able to kill me. I am perfectly powerful enough and capable enough of protecting myself. This is the pride and the arrogance of those who are demoniac. Low battery here. It's going to get disconnected. So Prahlad, this is the situation of atheistic people like Hiranyakashipu, who do not imagine that they can ever be destroyed by the material nature. And just as a small insect falls forcefully into a fire and the insignificant creature becomes invisible, so Hiranyakashipu rushed at Narasimhadeva, who was effulgent like the blazing fire, and it appeared like a moth or a little creature had entered into the fire in the form of Lord Narasimhadeva. Thereafter, Hiranyakashipu, who was actually a great warrior, very powerful warrior, he began to attack the Supreme Lord with his sword, with his club and various weapons. And he would fly, attack, and then move away, up in the sky, down in the sky, left and right, backwards and forwards. He was a very expert warrior. But what good is all this expertise in front of the Supreme Lord? This expertise has some value in front of human beings. When a firefly appears in the night, it appears very bright and attractive. How many of you have seen a firefly? And if you have seen many fireflies together, then at night the vision appears very attractive. But when the sun rises, what happens to the attraction or attractiveness of the firefly? Nobody can see the firefly. So the firefly is noticeable only so long as there is no sun. Once even the faint glimmer of the rays of the sun come, then the firefly's value becomes zero. Similarly, so long as the Supreme Lord does not appear, then people can think they are very powerful, very strong, and so on. But in front of the Supreme Lord, their power is absolutely negligible and insignificant. And then Hiranyakashipu, however, captured him very easily, just as Garuda might capture a snake. The snakes are food for Garuda, as you know. And then, interestingly, just to make this whole battle a little interesting, Lord Narasimhadeva let Hiranyakashipu slip from his grip. Because Lord Narasimhadeva also wants to relish the Veera Rasa, the mellow of chivalry. He also wants to fight. He likes to fight, but he cannot fight with any ordinary person. He has to fight with some very, very powerful demon who he himself has to empower. And then he let him go. The moment Hiranyakashipu was released from the grip of Lord Narasimhadeva, Lord Narasimhadeva or Hiranyakashipu thought, by my power I have come out of this grip of Hiranyakashipu, of Lord Narasimhadeva, and I will emerge victorious, and very soon I will defeat this half man, half lion. And Srila Prabhupada here gives a very interesting purport. He says, sometimes we see that very sinful people, atheistic people, those who speak against God, who trouble the devotees, they appear to prosper. And they appear to have a very good time in this world. They enjoy life. They get high position, they get name, fame, money, prosperity, enjoyment, everything. And poor devotees sometimes suffer. And these sinful people seem to be having a good time. So many people ask this question, why does that happen? And Prabhupada answers, please remember this answer. It is like the Lord letting them play for some time, releasing them. Okay, you play in the darkness for some time, but not for long, then I'll catch you. Then finish, everything is over. So let me read how Prabhupada explains it in his purport. When a sinful man enjoys material facilities, foolish people sometimes think, how is it that the sinful man is enjoying, whereas a pious man is suffering? Actually, by the will of the Supreme, a sinful man is sometimes given the chance to enjoy the material world as if he were not under the clutches of material nature, just so that he may be fooled. A sinful man who acts against the laws of nature must be punished. But sometimes he is given a chance to play. Exactly like Hiranyakashipu when he was released from the hands of Narasimhadeva. Hiranyakashipu was destined to be ultimately killed by Narasimhadeva. But just to see the fun, the Lord gave him a chance to slip from his hands. So Hiranyakashipu took a little rest, took a few moments to breathe. Again he attacked Lord Narasimhadeva. And the demigods hiding behind the clouds were getting very anxious because it was becoming dark. And in the darkness, the strength of such people, demoniac people, increases. They don't like the daytime, they like the night. So the demigods were wondering, praying to the Lord, oh Lord, please kill this demon very quickly. And then finally the Lord decided, yes, the time has come. So he captured Hiranyakashipu once again, just as a snake captures a mouse, or just as Garuda captures a snake. Sometimes even a cat or a snake will play with a mouse like this, catch, release, just for some fun. So similarly, the Lord had caught Hiranyakashipu, released him, but now he again caught him. And he lifted him up. He carried him to the doorway. He sat on the stairs. He placed Hiranyakashipu on his lap, and with the tips of his nails, he tore apart the chest of Hiranyakashipu, which was like stone, hard like stone. And then he tore it apart and killed Hiranyakashipu. Tava kara kamalavare nakam adbhuta shringam dalita Hiranyakashipu tanu bringam keshavadrita narahari rupa jaya jagadisha hare. So tava kara kamala vare nakham adbhuta shringam. His hands are so miraculous, so wonderful, that they are like lotuses. But when they touch the chest of Hiranyakashipu, which is like stone, they could even cut that stone very easily. Vajradapi kathorani kusumadapi komalam. So the Lord can be harder than a thunderbolt, he can be softer than a rose or a flower. And the same object, that one nail of the Lord, can be soft as a lotus petal or a rose petal. It can also be harder like a thunderbolt to cut open the stone-like chest of Hiranyakashipu. And then the Lord garlanded himself with the intestines of Hiranyakashipu, placed it around his neck. Now, why did the Lord kill Hiranyakashipu in such an unusual way? As you all remember, Hiranyakashipu had received a benediction from Brahma. And the benediction was that he would not get killed inside the house or outside the house. He would not get killed by a human or by an animal. He would not get killed by a weapon or by any living person. He would not get killed in the day or in the night. He would not get killed on the water, on the ground, or in the sky. And Hiranyakashipu had made so many conditions because he wanted a backdoor entry into the kingdom of immortality. Because initially he asked Brahma, I want the benediction or the boon of immortality. Brahma said, sorry, wrong number. Even I am not immortal. How can I give you the boon of immortality? Then Hiranyakashipu, thinking himself to be very intelligent, he thought he could get the backdoor entry. He asked for so many conditions. I should not be killed this, with that, at this time or that time. And Brahma said, Tathastu, Tathastu, Tathastu. And then later on, Lord Vishnu, when he came as Narasimhadeva, after killing Hiranyakashipu, he told Brahma, Henry, giving so many benedictions of this sort, you must be careful what kind of boons you are giving. You just give these boons just like that. And then I have to come and take up so many unusual forms, and I have to do so many things to keep your boon intact, because I have to keep your man, keep your prestige. After all, you are the creator of the universe. You are my great devotee. So please be careful before you offer boons to such demoniac people next time. So anyway, so Lord Narasimhadeva appeared as half human, half lion, which means he was neither animal nor human. He killed him at twilight, at dusk, which is neither day nor night. He killed him on the steps of the house, neither indoors nor outdoors. He killed him on his lap, which is neither the ground nor the sky. He killed him with his nails, which is neither dead nor alive, which is neither a weapon nor a living person. In this way, the Lord, who is supremely intelligent and supremely powerful, found a way to keep Brahma's boons intact, and yet he succeeded in killing Hiranyakashipu very easily. All the demigods started showering flowers from the clouds. Of course, many thousands of other faithful associates of Hiranyakashipu began to attack Lord Narasimhadeva. And Narasimhadeva, just with a swipe of his nails, he was killing them by the thousands. His nails are sufficient. And Srila Prabhupada mentions this godless civilization that we have today, this highly materialistic, atheistic civilization can also at any time crumble and be devastated just by a flick of the Lord's little finger. So therefore it is in the interest of the whole world to give up this kind of demoniac and atheistic mentality and to surrender to the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna, and become His devotees. Then peace and joy can prevail in the whole world. After all the demons had been killed, everyone, including the demigods who had now arrived on the spot, was so terrified by seeing this display of anger that they did not have the courage to come in front of the Lord. Lord Narasimhadeva is the personification of anger. How many of you get angry? Yes. That is a fact. We all get angry. And how many times you feel, I wish I did not get angry? When anger goes out of control. So one time one devotee asked Srila Prabhupada, that how do I control my anger? So Prabhupada replied, think of Lord Narasimhadeva when he is angry, and then you will forget your anger. So he is the ultimate personification of anger. No one can have anger like him. So when Lord Narasimhadeva's anger was still boiling over, even after killing Hiranyakashipu and his associates, he was still very angry. Why was the Lord so angry? How dare Hiranyakashipu trouble his dear devotee? Nothing angers the Lord more than when his pure devotees are troubled. So then the Lord's anger was still there very much. So nobody was even extending the courtesy to him to sit down. When somebody comes to your house, you give that person a place to sit, isn't it? Now the Lord was a guest and he had arrived in the palace of Hiranyakashipu, but everybody was so terrified now, whoever was remaining, including the demigods who had just arrived, nobody even thought of asking him to sit down. They were so scared. So Lord thought, okay, nobody is asking me to sit, let me help myself. So the Lord went and sat down on the throne, and he was still roaring and roaring. Have you seen the picture or a video of a lion roaring? It can be very terrifying. What does the lion do? The lion raises his head and roars in defiance. The lion will not roar with the head down like that. The lion will roar, keep his head up and then roar. So Lord Narasimhadeva sat down on the throne, raised his head and let out long roars. Everybody was trembling even more. And all the demigods wanted to come in front of him to offer prayers, but they were all trembling in fear, looking at this terrible form of the Lord, this anger. Then finally, when nobody had the courage, Lord Brahma told Prahlad, Prahlad, you please go. You go in front. We can't face Lord Narasimhadeva, but he has come to protect you. You go in the front. Prahlad was completely fearless. He went in the front with folded hands. And as soon as Lord Narasimhadeva saw Prahlad, his anger immediately came down. And his angry expression turned to a very loving, kind expression. And then he placed his hand on Prahlad's head. And then he took Prahlad on his lap. And then what did he do? He began to lick him all over the body, because the top part of the body is lion, right? So animals usually express their affection by licking their young ones, whether it's a cow or a cat or even a dog or a lion. So animals usually do that. So the Lord had taken the form of a half lion. The torso above was a lion. So he kept Prahlad on his lap and began licking him out of affection. And then he blessed Prahlad. And Prahlad was offering beautiful prayers to him. And the Lord offered him many, many benedictions, even though Prahlad was not keen to have any benediction. Prahlad told the Lord, please do not tempt me in this way with this offer of benedictions. I am not a merchant, I am not a businessman who has come to you to strike some deal with you, that in exchange for my worship of you, my service to you, that you should return something to me. My dear Lord, I want nothing from you. You have already given me your darshan. You have given me your bhakti. That is all I need in life. But still the Lord was saying, no, still ask. Then Prahlad asked, please give me the association and the opportunity to serve your pure devotees like Narad Muni. That is all I ask. And the Lord happily gave him that. That is the highest benediction we can ask from the Lord. We need not go to the Lord to ask him, Lord, please give me some money. Please give me a promotion in my job. Please cure me of this or that. No. We should go to the Lord to ask him for the ultimate gift, the ultimate benediction he can give us, which is pure bhakti for him. And therefore Prahlad was now doubly blessed with not just the darshan of the Lord who came to protect him, but also the benediction that he would never fall in Maya, that he would constantly serve the Supreme Lord with devotion forever and ever. Shri Narasimhadeva Bhagavan ki jai. Bhaktaraj Prahlad Maharaj ki jai. Shri Narasimhadev Mahotsav Jayanti Mahotsava ki jai. Gaur Premanande. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.